You're listening to the Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter at SlowRidePod. Enjoy the ride.
Hello and welcome to the 230th episode of the Slow Ride Podcast, the Pumpkin Spice Latte podcast. This is Matt in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And this is Spencer in Boston, Massachusetts, where I enjoy a nice cold Frappuccino, even in December here in Boston. That's not true. I go to Dunkin' Donuts because that's what everybody does here.
Now, do you think, Spencer, I know it'd be kind of sacrilege, but could I take some of that delicious full Schleck Grimpeur Bros blend and just dump some pumpkin spice on top of it? Would that make a pumpkin spice latte? And then if I just say latte, is that how they make pumpkin spice lattes? I don't actually know.
I think so. I mean, once you have gone to GrimpEurBrothers.com and bought those beans, you can do whatever you want with them. So if you want to try and make a pumpkin spice latte at home, little guy, you can. That is your prerogative. I'm not going to stop you, although I should by law.
Yeah. So once I own them, I'm free. I can do anything I want with them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay, good.
Absolutely.
That takes some worry off me.
Yeah. Now, astute listeners to this podcast, long-time listeners to this podcast, might notice something a little different this episode. Little guy.
Yep.
It's a pretty big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Your sound quality is back to normal.
Yep.
Back to normal.
Yeah. Back to normal. I crawled out of the well.
Yeah.
I was down there for a while.
Yeah.
As some of our astute listeners noticed. I pushed the wrong button last week. I was recording on a microphone that was pointed away from me. Rather than pointed toward me, it was pointed toward a kitchen.
Yep. It's basically the backup audio we had to use, and it was bad.
Yeah,
and
it was bad. I apologize. I'm sorry, everybody.
Rather than scrapping the entire show, we decided to run with it, and I hope you guys could power through that episode. It's tougher than normal one to power through, but now
it's worth it. There's some gems in there.
Our extra astute listeners, our doubly astute, our double Jeopardy astute level listeners of the Slow Ride Podcast. Now, these are probably our oldest school listeners. Will also recognize something else different about this episode, and that is that Tim, the Super Rookie Hayes, is not here this week.
Wait, really? Wait, let me look him. Oh, you're right. No Tim.
Yeah, no Tim.
I'm assuming Tim is on his Schwamigan 2018 victory tour, where he's kind of doing like dates at bookstores and stuff, just doing talks.
Yeah, he is currently on a transatlantic flight heading over to his European stops of his tour. So he is not available to check in this week, but we'll be back next week, which is important to note because we are in December here in the U.S., I assume everywhere in the world.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Actually,
I hope so.
We're in December.
Well, maybe not in Arizona. They kind of do things differently down there.
Yeah, that's true. But in December in general, worldwide, we have a major event. A major event in December to look forward to. I know everybody is all abuzz about it. It's talk of the town. Everybody is eagerly anticipating the result of this event. And that is, of course, US Cyclocross Nationals.
Yep, the whole world, bated breath. Who will be US national champion? They don't care about their own countries.
No.
But it's true. It's the big one.
Well,
it's the big one for us.
We come first. And I know Canada was like 2 months ago, but like that kind of counts as like last year.
Yeah.
So US out the gate first, as usual. Number one, go USA. We are having our national championships next week, middle of December. Got to get it out of the way before other holiday seasons interrupt everyone's training schedules. So we're gonna lead out the gate with the big news, with the big hitting news, and get our thoughts and reactions to Cyclocross Nationals in the US. Now, I know that I've been paying extremely close attention to the cyclocross scene in the US for the past several months, and I'm sure you have too.
Yeah, super. I know a lot.
Excellent. This is going to go well. One big piece of news I do know, and this I can confirm as fact because I got it from crosshairs.com, which is a bastion of hope in the sea of fake news about cyclocross, that in the lead up to US National Championships, we have a shakeup on the men's side that was not expected. Gage Hecht, U23 superstar, has confirmed that he will be racing the elite race.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
That's something that spices up the race.
That spices things up a little bit because I had kind of my top 5, like random, like don't know what order they're going to finish in, top 5 podium, kind of all figured out. And now it's out the window.
Yeah, that's nice, especially because Driscoll's still out, right?
Driscoll is still, last time I checked, his leg is still broken.
Can he just wrap some of that golden, beautiful hair around it and strengthen it up?
I'll have to check. Maybe we'll email his doctors and see what they think about that. Yeah.
Okay, they should try putting some of his hair on it. I think that's the best solution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, heck, that should spice things up.
Well,
I can't look beyond Hyde, but
it's tough to look beyond Hyde. But let's rewind a second. Now, Nationals is next weekend, so let's take a look at this weekend and see what happened. Now, Hyde was not racing; he's at training camp there in Athens, Georgia, along with Ellen Noble and some other fine folks. So out in Oklahoma at Ruts and Guts, we had a C1 on Saturday and a C2. Gage Hecht won both days over Curtis White, who was on the podium both days. Jeremy Powers on the podium both days. Anthony,
I haven't heard of that young kid.
Yeah, Anthony Clark right up there in 4th and 5th, I think, both days. I'm not going to go through the exact results. You can find those on the .com somewhere. But all the heavy hitters were up there. Vandenham was there as well, Canadian national champion. So that was cool to see. And then over in North Carolina, we also had some racing that was super, super muddy because of some snow on Saturday. And then super, super canceled on Sunday because of a lot more snow. Egregious amounts of snow. They got like 2 feet of snow or something crazy. Something just actually crazy. Yeah. It made the course unrideable, so they had to cancel, which
totally canceled. They couldn't snow blow it. They couldn't shovel it.
Yeah. They didn't know early enough to pull a Louisville 2013 and just move all the races from Saturday and Sunday on to Saturday, I guess. Maybe the schedule would have been too compacted. I'm not sure, but
that would have been crazy. That would be such a crazy day if you moved off a weekend, like a normal American double weekend.
Yeah.
And so then you just bump everything up and you race a C1 or C2, I guess it was.
Yep.
And then you hang out for 5 hours and you race another C2?
Yeah.
That'd be bonkers. Somebody should do that. Just see how it goes.
Yeah. Is there a rule against doing 2 elite races on the same day?
I wonder. The UCI probably has a rule against that, but that might be a thing that's in the fine print we can get away with.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll have to send an email over to Crosshairs at Cyclocross Radio and see if he can come up with an answer for us.
Well, since there's the whole, you probably can't have. You can't have 2 races. I don't know. The categorizations, the C1s, the C2s, sort of at the same time, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can somehow sneak them in. You get to do it on the same day. So you do 2 C1s in one day. But you obviously make a rule that everybody has to race both races.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want fresh legs coming in for the second race.
No.
You want, I want to see Hyde and all of the big guns racing at 11 o'clock in the morning, mm-hmm. and then I want to see them all take a nap mm-hmm. and have lunch, and then I want to see them back out there at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
That sounds great. just totally exhausted cross pros. Sounds hilarious.
I mean, I think we should get together like a Kickstarter or something to. I'm going to take this idea that you've had and just throw out the dumb part of like putting 2 elite races on one day because that's never going to happen. But if we could kickstart like some prize pot, some like giant reward for the first UCI level promoter that can flip the schedule around and put the UCI races at 8 a.m. When the whole course isn't destroyed by Cat 5s and everything. And
yeah, it's still icy.
Run them in the morning, yeah, when it's cold, when it's dewy, when it's icy, frosty, whatever. And then let the Cat 5s and the Cat 4s and everybody, the women 3-4 field, let them sleep in for once in their lives and get some brunch and roll up to the venue at noon and then race at 3 p.m. like the pros get to. It doesn't seem fair, little guy.
It's true. Then all the Cat 4s at Iowa Jingle Cross could go to our favorite coffee shop there, Common Ground or something, the slowest coffee shop in the history of mankind.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I don't know if I've told this on the podcast. I probably have, but one time I was there and I saw was it Chris Jones? What was the dude's name that rode for Rafa way back in the day?
Yeah. Jones.
He had some food ordered. And man, you could see the worry on his face. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
He kept looking around for his food and it was like, sucker has no idea that food's never coming.
Yeah.
I had planned, we were technically racing each other that day.
Yeah.
I had air quotes around that. We started at the same time, but he was all like, I need to eat, man. And I was like, dude, you got to eat a breakfast before you come for this breakfast.
Yeah.
Amateurs.
Yeah, that was a solid 45-minute wait. If nobody was in line in front of you at that place, I don't.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how they did
but
it, but it's incredible.
They used George Foreman grills, baby.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to the real bike racing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we had 2 races this week, and kind of.
Yep.
A half race. It seems like all the people are who should be fast are fast. There's no total wacko surprises right now.
On the men's side, we had a lot of cards shown. Hyde not racing, obviously, but basically everybody else was out there. On the women's side, no Katie Compton racing, no Ellen Noble racing. As far as I know, no Caitlin Keogh racing. She raced last weekend and destroyed everyone at MBX. But we had some other folks like Katie Klaus racing, who was doing very well out in Oklahoma, and Sammy Runnels won the C2 today, who could be a dark horse for like a top 5 out at Nationals, I would say. And so Courtney McFadden outperforming well as well out in Ruts and Guts, and the week before, wherever that was, Resolution, I guess. So a little more mystery, I think, on that side. But still a lot up in the air in both races, I got to say. And I think I want to be the first to say, and I'm probably not the first to say, but anybody, much like last year, anybody who's doubted that Powers would be there should be shivering in their boots, because Powers is going to be there.
Yeah, probably will be. Do we know forecast yet? Is the Powers beater, aka Weather, gonna be at the race in Louisville?
I don't know.
That's always the question. The forecast could change. Obviously, you run a cyclocross in Louisville, a river could eat your race course.
It's true. Even
though I know it's not in the same location, but I still see that river rising enough to get the course. Just take the whole thing out.
Sure. You get the whole town of Louisville on edge when that river starts rising. So,
hey, it's flooded before.
Yeah.
They've got things for it, but
it's luckily the course is right next to the zoo. So if they need to get 2 of each animal out of there in a hurry, they're all in one quick place. So it should be all right.
So that's pretty far from the river.
Yeah.
Powers will probably be there.
He will. I admit, like, I didn't think at the beginning of this year, he's injured. He came out pretty well at Rochester, if I remember right, and then just sort of disappeared with injury and stuff. And I had faith that he would come good, but then I started to doubt because he stayed injured and stayed sick for a while. And but man, you can never count that guy out at nationals. Like, he knows how to deliver primo form for nationals. And based on NBX and then based on Ruts and Guts again this weekend, he is showing that, maybe he's not going to win, but he has a fighting chance of being on that podium and animating a race for sure.
Yeah, I'd be excited. I'd be super excited if he won again. It sort of felt like a formality for a few years, but now it'd be exciting to have it happen again.
What's funny is, like, it did feel like a formality for a few years. Like, Powers wins everything, but it was only a couple years before that the guy could not win nationals to save his life.
Yeah,
he would just get like Tim Johnson or Ryan Trebone or John Paged or something like every year, and he was so close. And he finally got it, and I was there in Madison when he finally got it. And he that was his like Stephen Hyde moment, and those following years were his Stephen Hyde years that we're living through now with Hyde. And I'm like, is the torch going to pass from Hyde to a Curtis White or to a Gage Hecht or what?
Yeah, we're back to a Jeremy Powers.
We're back full circle to a Jeremy Powers. It's possible.
It could happen.
Do you got a top 5 figured out? Like, are we at this point yet?
We could try it.
Or do you want to talk women's race first?
No, I'll give you my men's top 5.
They don't have to be in order. Why don't you just give me 5 names that you think will be on our wide angle podium?
I'll tell you what I think is gonna happen. I'll just tell you what's gonna happen.
Okay.
Hyde.
Okay.
White.
Okay.
Powers.
Okay.
Gage.
Okay.
I guess Warner.
Oh, the guy who's been winning everything all year, I guess, will be 5th. All right.
Yeah, I think he's gonna underperform in the moment.
He was peaking for January, didn't realize that it moved up to December or something.
Yeah, he kept getting these emails from USAC about buying a license and you get it for like 2 years thing, and he was like, I don't understand this. Why are they running this weird promotion? I mean,
yeah.
He didn't know they changed nationals. He's got it written down as a rest week.
Well, yeah, 2019 Nationals is in December 2019. So this is the second 2018 Nationals, actually. So yeah. I could see the confusion. That makes sense.
Yeah, he doesn't know how calendars work. All right, who's your top 5?
All right, I don't know if I can put these in order, but probably my hot take is that Kerry Warner will not even be in this top 5.
You're just giving me crap.
I know.
Putting him 5th.
The old switcheroo. The old what do you call it? Kansas City shuffle. I pointed one direction and then I shifted the other way. Look at that. That's a pro move. That's what Jeremy Powers is going to do to the field.
It's true.
So I can't put these in order, but I'm going to say the top 5 will definitely include Stephen Hyde, Gage Hecht, Jeremy Powers, Curtis White, and Anthony Clark.
You think so?
In fact, we could even put them in that order.
All right, let's do that.
Why not?
I would like to see Clark up that high. I don't know.
You
got some sort of since you have a squid bike too, do you know some sort of secret squid bike magic?
I got the positive vibes. Yeah, they're coming through. The vibes are everywhere. Louisville's a fun party town. They're gonna be feeling it, and they're gonna compel him onto the wide angle podium.
Yeah, if nothing else, that's gonna get him to Sergio's World of Beers afterwards for just a couple pints.
Oh my God! I hope somebody has warned Sergio's about the influx of bike racers that are coming.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's our number one pro tip
from
the Slow Ride Podcast. If you're at Nationals, go to, it's not Sergio's, I think it's Sergio World of Beers. It's something weird. It slightly doesn't roll off the tongue. It looks like it might be closed or abandoned from the outside, at least it used to.
It is not.
But it's real. Go in. It's the it's the greatest bar ever. It's cheap food and the greatest beer selection you'll ever see in your life. They're playing some sort of 80s action movies when we were in there last time is great.
Yeah, and it's pretty much your best bet to run into a quote unquote famous bike racer after post nationals would be to swing in there and just kind of hang out if you're looking for autographs and stuff. So
Yeah.
there you go. All right.
Yeah. I wish I was going just to go there.
Let's
do the women's
on
race.
the women's side, the big question, obviously, Katie Compton, can she do it again, or is this
Of course.
finally the year that somebody cracks this streak that has been going on for over a decade?
Nah, she's gonna do it.
You think
Come
so?
on. Why not?
Give me some
what
proof.
else she
Give me
gonna
some
do?
evidence. What do you got? Back up this claim.
Her name's Katie fucking Compton.
Well,
That's it.
That's pretty good.
I don't need any more evidence than that.
That's pretty good.
She could lose every race all year. It doesn't matter. She's Katie Compton. It's nationals.
All right. She has been losing quite a few races, though, and
She
it is
has
due
been
to
losing.
the allergies and illnesses and asthmas and different things. Could this affect her in Louisville?
Yes, it could, but she's gonna think about it. She's gonna go, wait a minute.
She's going to think about it.
She's gonna go, wait a minute. I'm Katie Compton.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. All right.
It's December. There shouldn't be allergies anymore. She'll get a new inhaler. I'm assuming all her tires are glued on properly now.
Yeah, I think they have addressed that issue for sure.
I mean, that's barely an issue.
I mean-
Unless she has one mechanical in what, like
Yeah.
20 years?
Yeah.
And it was like national news stories on all the cycling websites as
Yeah.
if her bikes had all imploded in a
Well,
puff of smoke.
I mean, they internally treated it the same way. I know Mark pulled every single tire off every single rim and redid them all.
That's crazy. Did he really do that, or did he just say that?
I'm
Just to
pretty
make
sure
it
he did it
sound
because he's
crazy.
insane. Yeah, we can get him on the pod to confirm.
To confirm whether he's crazy or just insane.
Yeah. I think he'd be happy to confirm that one way or the other, crazy or insane.
All right.
So-
But you don't think she's gonna win?
Well, there's a certain Ellen Noble who won a streak of like 7 or 8 races in a row, including all the big ones except for Pan Am's, which she lost in the last like 100 meters or something. She was on a hot streak, and she's been like training and not racing and like ready to peak for nationals. You don't think she's going to give Katie a run for her money? She was
I
so
do.
close last
And
year in Reno.
I think if it was anyone other than Katie Compton, I would say for sure Nova's going to win. You know, if we were just going off results, just going off about actual form, I just think there's some sort of magic Katie Compton
Yeah.
nationals magic.
I get it.
It's just seems foolish to go against it.
All
you know?
right. And then there's also a few. I don't know if you can even call them like Katie Keough won a World Cup this year. Like, so that's pretty huge, obviously. Smashed NBX last weekend, winning both elite races, one of them being a C1. But in between that, not a whole lot from Katie Keough.
She's been quiet.
Yeah, which, much like Powers, isn't necessarily a bad thing. Could just mean she's on an upswing. But can't count her out. Can't count her out at all. And then you've got a few dark horses there, I would say. Courtney McFadden, been riding really well. You've always got Crystal Anthony, you've got Sammy Runnels, you've got a handful of others, Becca Franger, who could be up in that top 5 mix and can affect the outcome of the race. But you think nothing is going to stop Katie Compton from winning, 15, I think?
Yeah, maybe. I don't even remember how many. No, it's impossible. I'm just going to say it. There's no way.
It is impossible to stop Katie
Impossible.
Compton. Well, she is sponsored by Wide Angle Podium, so I do think that's a good choice. We will
It's a
be
great choice.
cheering her on. We are hoping to have another national championship jersey to hang in the office headquarters here. Katie, if you're listening, send us anything to hang on the wall would be great. Our walls are bare. Obviously, Ellen Noble, I think, and Katie Keough right there in that podium picture, if not fighting for the win. what do we got beyond that? Anything? Like, is there anybody that's going to push those three?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think they're kind of head and shoulders.
Now this.
But what do I know?
Well, probably nothing. You haven't even seen the course.
Nothing. No, I don't even know where it is. By the zoo.
It's by the zoo. The parking's kind of a pain, I guess. I don't know.
Oh no! Is it? It's national parking disaster all over again.
Well, the zoo people are uppity, I guess, but I guess USA Cycling took care of all this and rented the entire lot from them for a flat fee, so it should be all encompassed in your entry fee or whatever to get in. So.
Oh man! All right, I'm sure we're gonna hear some complaining.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully, the parking lot is easier to find than the infamous Biltmore estate, where allegedly riders are still trying to find their cars and waiting for the shuttle to get home.
Oh, it's so sad.
It is a tragedy. Let's see. Any other cyclocross news?
The Europeans race bikes, but Vanderpool's still taking a nap.
Vanderpool's napping. I think Wout Van Aert also napping in Spain somewhere. Siesta, I guess would be the technical term.
Toon 1-1, Sweek 1-1, so he got his once a year win.
All right, Lawrence Sweek. He was another one who was looking good at the U.S. World Cups and then just sort of disappeared.
Yeah, he came out hot. Toon came out. Toon's still riding well.
Yeah,
he'll challenge the big boys, I think. Maybe even come Worlds. I think that'd be kind of interesting.
Really?
But
okay.
But we'll see.
All right. I remember just seeing a snapshot of the top 10 from I think Saturday's race, whatever that was, Brico Cross, and there's just one little Dutch flag in there for the younger Vanderpool, and all the rest
Older.
to be confirmed. I think Matthew gets to decide whether he's older or younger.
Yeah, I think it's fun when Matthew Vanderpool takes a couple weeks off to go training, and his brother doesn't get that luxury, but he just stays, and he got a podium, and then he got 10th, I think. So he's still there, troubling and bothering everybody. Sort of like he's just
like a nagging reminder that there are Vanderpools around. Yeah,
and that you can never escape one. That even when you think, oh, I got this sewn up because Matthew Vanderpool's gone, you turn around and there's David Vanderpool bridging across to your group, and you're like, oh, for the love of God, come on, just give me one weekend without one of these guys at least pestering me.
Yeah, and he was the only Dutch flag there on that results sheet amongst all the Belgians in the top 10. So, we're back to status quo, I guess, without Vanderpool screwing up the natural order of things.
Yeah, I suppose.
So
the way we've seen it, yeah.
We've got Belgian nationals to look forward to, the Worlds before Worlds, as I like to call it, and so lots of questions to be answered there.
Yeah, that'll be a good race. Dutch nationals, of course, is just Matthew Vanderpool going on a short 20-minute training ride with Van der Haar, and then going on a 40-minute solo training ride after that.
Yeah,
so. Yeah. It's a little bit different than the Belgian one.
Yeah, it's you can look at it from another angle and say Van der Haar goes motor pacing for 20 minutes and then has to ride in a headwind for 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's good for him. It's good training.
Yeah, he should be primed for Worlds after that. So,
poor guy.
The only other cyclocross news I have, which I don't even have the full story on, but is exciting nonetheless, is that Helen Wyman is sponsoring, like, out of pocket, I guess, a junior women's race, so that they can race separately at one of the upcoming European races, which is amazing. So that's really cool. It's like the Helen Wyman Foundation or whatever is making this happen because it's something that needs to happen, and she's putting her money where her mouth is. So it's great to see.
So who do they usually have to race with? I guess I don't know who they have to race with.
I think they're in with the U23.
That's really awesome. No, okay, that's really awesome.
Yeah,
Helen's great. She's great.
Ellen is great. She does a lot of great things for the sport, and it's awesome to see her doing stuff like this and still crushing it on the bike every week.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's all cyclocross news. I've got to transition to a horrible person who's ruining cycling. Before we get to the preem lap, I just want to mention.
Okay.
I want to see your reaction to this, Spencer. This week, Cycling News had a nice banner headline of Lance Armstrong saying that he would have been ruined if it wasn't for his Uber investment. And then a whole article with that. I'll lay my cards on the table. Waste of humanity, explaining that he got really hurt by this $5 million settlement or whatever it was, and he'd be totally broke if it wasn't for the fact that before he had to pay out all this money on the settlement, he'd used $100,000 of his ill-gotten dollars to invest in a company that I already didn't really want to patronize very much, but now I really don't want to patronize. Uber. And he's doing all right now. He's got a lot of money now. It's like, oh, great, good for you. You cheated people and made money, and then you invested in it in a company that's like, there's a lot of reasons to dislike them. And they're not the worst thing ever, but man.
Yeah. So
did you find this just so annoying?
I did. I really did. I'm with you on this one. I'm going to fill in some of the details that maybe you just sort of ranted over. So for those who don't know, Lance invested apparently $100,000 in
as you do,
into a venture capital firm that invested in Uber, and that netted him a pretty significant return because Uber was valued at like $4 million at the time, and now it's valued at like basically $1 billion or whatever. There are no exact numbers, but the estimates are a return on his 100K of 100 to 500 times the initial investment, which if you're quick on doing the math on your napkin, pretty much a minimum return of $10 million.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty nuts. And that explains how Lance still lives like a rich person.
Yeah, it does. And it sucks in a lot of ways. I mean, smart investing could move, savvy, I guess. But the question is, the frustrating thing about it is, why did he have that money? Should he have had that money at all? And, that's why the clean riders in the world that, like, even if they make it to World Tour level and are struggling along, like, whatever, like, your pride only gets you so far. It doesn't get you 100K extra to just invest in random things that, like, if they go bust, it's like, oh, well, that was a bad experiment.
That was, I don't know, same thing. That's the thing that got me, which is this, like, him being like, oh no, man, I lost a lot of money and I would have been bad off if it wasn't for this. You're like, tell me how many other American pros that raced clean and like had good careers by any measure, but didn't hit the pinnacle of success, have an extra 100K just floating around that they can just invest in startups, which his explanation of why he invested in this startup was basically like, I saw a total type A douche dude, and I was like, hey, I'm that dude, and I gave him some money. It was like this casual rich man thing that just, oh my gosh, he's just like, ugh. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Just
it's a bummer. It's frustrating. I mean, I just want the guy to kind of, disappear and like I don't want him to like die a horrible death or whatever. Like, it's fine. Like, just go about your business and do your thing. But like, we can't escape. Like, we're never going to escape. The cycling media is always going to have something to say, and it always sucks. It's always something that sucks is what is really the gist of it. It's like, it's never like, oh, Lance saved a puppy from a burning building. It's like, no, Lance did something a little shady and like got a huge reward from it, or Lance screwed somebody over, or here's another thing that Lance did that sucks. And man, it's like, I get that people are like, he got busted, like whatever, get over it. And it's like, not even that. It's like, I want to get over it. Like, I just want him out of the news, like, can we just move on, please?
Lance Armstrong feels like if you kicked, like literally physically kicked him when he was down on the ground, he'd find $20 while it was happening.
Yeah.
It's just like, what? How does, what? You'd be like, "Oh, dude, thanks for pushing me into that bush. There was a bunch of money in there."
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, dude. All right. Enough with that. Let's go to the Preem Lap and
right.
see if we can find $100,000.
Best of luck.
Oh, hey there, all you hosers. This is Manitoba Mike Vandenham from Canada, and you're listening to the Slow Ride Podcast, eh?
All right. Who are we racing for this week, Spencer?
All right. So on the docket this week, we've got a full slate. But first up is PowerDot. You know them, you love them. I've talked about them before on here, and I'm really into it.
Oh yes.
Yeah. PowerDot is the world's smartest muscle recovery and performance tool. What it is a personal e-stim device, and it connects to your mobile phone, your smartphone via an app and Bluetooth.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take it with you anywhere. You can run these things wherever. You can turn this system on and then go do the dishes. You can, be doing whatever, living your normal life and like doubling up your time. You can. This is a twofer. This is a twofer tool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it helps prevent injury by activating muscles before you work out, or before you're training, or before you're racing, or it helps you recover afterwards, like a massage, only better because you don't have to drive across town and try and find a masseuse and pay for it every single time you go. And it does a great job of reducing that soreness, knots, strains, pulls, whatever stresses are brought on from your racing. And it's great. The app is super easy to use, and it helps walk you through like where to place these things. Like I'm not a physiotherapist. I don't know where, like I know I have muscles, but I don't know where they go, how they're all interconnected. And the app will show you where to place these things they stick on. It's like the pod that talks to the app, and then two little satellite deals that do the massaging, and you get to set the levels. It walks, it sets up, you're like, okay, IT band, this is a performance-based thing, or I really want to focus on this. Like you can tell the app what you're doing, and it'll set a time schedule, and it sets the, program that it's going to run through. And it's just really user-friendly, easy to use. And, fans of the pod can save some money.
Yeah, they're super cool, and super easy to get the rundown on how to start it up and use it, and like figure out the best thing for you. And I think the point that it's so nice and travel ready is the coolest thing, because you could easily you tweak a muscle, you could easily just bring this little thing with you at work and be sitting there typing out your TPS reports, and you're also getting a hamstring massage.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
No, that's just it. Is like you nailed it. You've seen some other athletes, and we know a lot of professional athletes do use PowerDot. I think the most high profile they've got is that Lawson Craddock using it throughout the Tour de France after he broke his scapula, and then completing the Tour de France after breaking that bone on the first day, which is incredible due to the world's smartest recovery and performance tool in PowerDot. So, but you see people carrying around these like giant inflatable boots, like pants, basically, that you like you have to that's a whole bag you have to check on the airplane, like if you're going to nationals, like whatever, like, and it's 8 or 9 times as much money. It's crazy. So just don't even look at that stuff. Just go to powerdot.com. Our listeners are going to get 20% off their order. Go to powerdot.com, use the promo code SLOWRIDE at checkout, get that 20% off. And you're gonna get massage only better. It's great. So powerdot.com, promo code SLOWRIDE. Get that same stuff all the pros are getting for pennies on the dollar. A lot cheaper than going to the doctor's office after you injured yourself because you weren't recovering properly.
Definitely.
I mean,
hey,
true facts.
That's 100% true facts. you're going to the doctor after every cross weekend because you hurt yourself again.
Yeah. No, it's
that's gonna get pricey quick.
It's no fun. So
also,
yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say our second sponsor of the episode this week is a brand new one to the Slow Ride, and we're super excited to welcome MapleWorks Coaching to the show. They've got a full setup at mapleworkscoaching.com/pod. That's where you can get a special offer, and we'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. But their coaching service is cycling specific, and it's for racing. They don't reduce you to just numbers and things like that. Like, it's not fitness training, it's actual bike race coaching. They can work with you to develop a plan specific for you, work out your race tactics, the technical stuff, like the bike stuff, the physiological stuff, not just the how many watts should I do for what interval. You know what I mean? Like, they're getting down to another level, which is really awesome. And I appreciate. And I'm going to tell you, I had one question for them when they sent me this. I said, I'm a guy who likes to think I can race a bike okay, but I'm not performing how I want because I know that I do not have the time to ride that I did when I was 10 years younger. And I worked more part-time, and I had a lot more freedom on the weekends and a lot less responsibilities. And my rent was a lot cheaper because I lived at a flop house with a bunch of bums. But I said, a guy like me who wants to perform, who has like 5 hours a week, 6 hours a week to dedicate to actually training, to riding the Zwift, to riding outside, whatever it is, can MapleWorks Coaching actually help a guy like me? Can you get me where I need to be? And they had the answer that I wanted to hear. It was inspiring because obviously, yes, they can. And not only that, but like they had evidence of this. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, totally. We could.
They were just selling you a bill of goods.
Exactly. Like whatever. Yeah, of course we can. Totally. No, I mean, they provided me evidence in that, like, one of their coaches, Julie Hunter, USA cycling coach, certified personal trainer, all that stuff, races UCI elite cyclocross, and she's only got that many hours a week to train, and she's finishing,
that's awesome.
Getting UCI points and getting front row start of her championship races next weekend, and it can be done. Like, they can help you make this jump. Like, even if you don't think, like, this is my problem with coaching generally, is like, I want to be better before I hire a coach, right? Like, I have this like internal thing where I'm like, oh, I need to have earned it. But like, you hire a coach so you get better. You know what I mean?
You
like,
get better,
you don't get better first and then hire a coach. Like, that is how the process works. So I would encourage folks to check out MapleWorks coaching.com/pod to check out their special offer they're offering to Slow Ride listeners, which is a 30-minute strategy call with the coach to discuss your goals, your objectives, and any other areas you want to talk about. Nothing is off limits, and see what they can do for you. It's super like painless. You get 30 minutes to get to talk with the professionals, see what they've got to offer you. See, give them your spiel, why you've only got 6 hours a week and 2 kids, and, you work 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and all these reasons why you can't do good, and see what they've got to say. I think you owe it to yourself. I think you have earned it. Like, even if you don't feel like you have, I think you've earned it, and you should give them a shout. MapleWorksCoaching.com/pod.
Sounds good. I bet they probably would have told me my Schwamigan strategy of getting a bunch of flats was the bad strategy.
Bad plan. Yeah, I think pretty much anybody could have done that. You didn't need to pay a coach for that one, but that was probably a freebie from them. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
And last up, of course, we've got Grimpeur Bros with the full Schleck blend of coffee that supports the Wide Angle Podium Network. GrimpEurBrothers.com. to find those beans. Every purchase supports the network, supports our show, supports other great shows on the network. It's a very easy win. The holidays are coming up. Get over there for that. I'm going to send over the artwork to Grimpeur Brothers this week to get our new espresso beans going as well, which will be Cyclocross Friends espresso, which is going to be very good, very tasty. And that'll be up online as well very shortly. So that's another one to check out at Grimpeur Brothers. You can also head over to wideanglepodium.com and click on the banner for Grimpeur Brothers on the page, and that'll take you right to the full Schleck.
Do that, and don't forget to check out all the other Wide Angle Podium shows, especially if you're listening to this. After this episode, you should go over and listen to Crosshairs, because he's going to tell you actual information with facts about the upcoming nationals for cyclocross. So listen to us and then go see what he says, and then send us an email and tell us how wrong we are.
Yeah. Like, he's dropping national news. Like, he got the scoop on the Gage Hecht in the Elite Field thing, the exclusive before any other news source. Like, this is good stuff Wide Angle Podium's bringing you, so don't sleep. Anyway, we're going to get back on over to the show and close things out.
I'm Kerry Werner, and you're listening to the Slow Ride Podcast.
All right, little guy. We're in the back half of the show here. We've got cyclocross covered, pretty much open and shut case over there. People know what's up with nationals now. They know what's been happening. They know what to expect. We need to move on to the bigger news, road-centric things. But first, I've got some sad news for you, little guy.
Okay, I didn't know this.
Pete Shelley, he is a singer for the Buzzcocks.
Oh, okay.
He passed away, sadly, earlier this week at age 63.
Okay.
And you might be wondering why I'm telling you this on a cycling podcast.
A little bit. I'm not known to be the biggest Buzzcocks fan or anything, but
I think maybe you're a bigger fan than you think you are.
Okay. Okay.
Can you hum me the tune, which you love so much, that is used as the intro to the Mitch Docker podcast, Life in the Peloton, as well as all the cycling specials?
He wrote that? That's what? The do or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yes, he did.
That's weird. That's so he went into some commercial work after the Buzzcocks, I guess?
I'm not sure. I don't know how it all worked.
Okay.
But that is the word on the street, little guy. And
that's bonkers.
Yeah.
All right.
So that man has been, musically, audibly touching your life for years. And it's been one of your favorite things in cycling, I know. So I just I saw that and I wanted to pass that along to you.
Oh,
that little
well,
nugget.
Thanks for telling me. I didn't know he'd passed. That's too bad. Thoughts for his family and all that. I was really worried you were going to ask me to hum a Buzzcock song, and I was like, oh boy, I do not remember. It's been at least a decade. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I could either, so I wouldn't make you do that.
It's a little nervous. Put him on the spot there.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. What else did he write? That's amazing. Cool. All right. Well, I'll have to peek into his back catalog of intros.
I'll see if I can find some audio from that. Maybe I'll try and toss it in after the outro to the show.
Cool. Oh, it's so good. Yeah. Go listen to Mitch Docker's podcast after you listen to Crosshairs Radio. After you listen to us. All right. Good. That's the order of operations for your day, dear listeners. You've done this. Now follow my direction for the rest of the day.
Yeah. It's a lot of homework.
And then just it's a lot of homework. And then just if you feel lost after that, maybe hit us up on the Slow Ride Facebook page, and maybe I'll chime in with some more podcasts for you.
Yeah, perfect. So I guess, I don't know. I guess that's about it, little guy. No road cycling happening right now. No trade rumors going on.
No, it's
not
quiet
much.
time.
You know, I guess we had the Sky jersey released. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I saw that it happened, and I didn't enlarge the picture, so I think it was the same jersey. I don't know. Does it change?
It changed a little.
Okay.
It's black,
I don't know.
and up at the shoulders, it's like a very dark navy blue that fades into that black. It's got a gradient to it. It's not great.
Yeah. That's all right. I guess we're almost to the point where we're going to get a bunch of new jerseys, and that's going to be exciting. But the Sky one is always the least exciting New Jersey launch for me, because you have to really get the lighting right to notice that they slightly changed a shade of black.
Right, yeah. And I mean, you know, it's tough to get past Chris Froome's nipples as well, so.
Yeah, I can't get past them.
Yeah, I know. I can't hardly blame you. So I guess with nothing new out there, I thought maybe we'd talk about something old.
Okay.
I stumbled across this story, and I read the article on Bicycling Magazine, and I jumped in somewhere, I think in the middle of this. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 articles kind of from different viewpoints about this story. So I don't even know that I've got the full take on it, but I'm going to just sort of give you the gist. And I want to get your take on this. Slow Ride Podcast has really established ourselves as the arbiters of all things cycling, the judge, jury, and executioner, if you will, for laws that are, maybe not written in the rule book. So anyway, I came across this article on Bicycling Magazine about the U.S. National Championships road race for the U23 category, men's, in 2001. Now,
okay.
Yeah.
I hope you know who was there, because I don't.
I don't. I only know 2 people who were there, and they were both written about in this article. I have no idea who else was there. But yeah, this is a weird one, because this article that I read was written this year, this month. So why are we talking about a race that happened, over 15 years ago? And I'm going to explain that to you. It was a big U23 race. It's nationals. Everybody wants to go. Everybody's peaking, whatever. And as the story goes, 2 riders get off the front. One very strong rider, one of the forerunners for the win. Who was Ian Dilley.
Sounds kind of familiar.
And he was in a breakaway with Mike Friedman,
that's familiar.
Who had a good career and then taken some time off the bike, like hadn't really raced that year at all, and then showed up unaffiliated with no team to nationals, just sort of on a whim, and finds himself off the front in a 2-man break.
Same thing happens to me all the time too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I thought this is why I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Yeah.
So they're off the front together, and I guess Daly is attacking and trying to drop Mike Friedman, who went on to have a great, professional career, as we know, rode Paris-Roubaix and all these things. Might have got like a pretty good result at that, actually, now that I think about it. Anyway. And can't shake him, keeps dropping him, and Friedman keeps clawing his way back. And eventually Friedman gets back to him and is like, dude, let's work together. You can win. I don't even want to win this race. I wasn't here to win. I just ended up off the front, basically. Because he's like, wasn't expecting, obviously, to be there. So Ian Dilley is like, this guy just gave me my national championship. This is great. I'm going to bury myself. We're going to work together, get to the line. It's going to be amazing. And he does so. And I think this article was maybe written by Ian Daly, if I remember right. I didn't pay much attention.
Okay.
So he's like basically burying himself on all his poles and Friedman's pulling through and doing his work, but it maybe not quite as hard. But they're still staying away from the pack, pulling out time. And eventually they come to the final few hundred meters of the race.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess this is where the dispute comes in, as Ian looks under his shoulder and yells back and says, "You remember our deal, right?" And this is where the dispute comes in, whether there was a response or a head shake or a nod of acknowledgement or anything. Like, nobody's quite sure. Everybody's story is a little different on what the response was to the question.
Okay.
But what happened, how it played out is they sprinted it out to the line. Mike Friedman, not a shabby sprinter, comes around and pips him at the line for the win and takes the Stars and Stripes jersey. Now,
okay.
Apparently, I mean, obviously you'd be pretty pissed off if you were expecting someone to not do that, and they did. And he was, Ian Dillon.
Yeah.
Apparently this has been eating both these guys up for 15 years inside. Like, they've both felt this enormous guilt, this enormous weight on their shoulders. One of did I cheat this guy? One of like anger, like resentment, like I've been cheated. I should be national champion. This guy went on to a pro career. I'm doing my thing over here, blah, blah, blah. And that's all, I mean, it's not fun for anyone. Like, I think they actually had, some serious issues around this crazy event that happened, but I'm not here to debate all that. What I want to know is, did Mike Friedman cheat or not?
By sprinting?
Is making a deal and breaking that deal cheating? Or is it a savvy veteran move? Is making a deal hard and fast or not? Is it fluid? Is making a deal a tactic? Is that mental warfare? Or is making a deal make both of them cheaters because they're fixing the race?
I don't know if I wouldn't say Friedman. If it went down totally that way, I wouldn't say Friedman cheated. I would say he changed his mind. But I would say it's pretty. I'd say that's kind of low. I feel like there's nothing wrong with two guys saying, "Hey, let's work together till the last K,"
right? Or
picking a point at which to work to, right? Like, if there's a big hill at 5K to go and you and me are off the front, and I say, "Hey," you're like, "Let's work till the finish," and I'm like, to the last K, and I'm like, "We're going to work till that climb."
Yeah.
Then that I'm like, I'm going to try to get rid of you at that climb. And that's fair, right? But we need to get to that climb before we have any chance.
Sure.
But if you're saying, "I'm going to give you the win," and then you take it back, I don't know. I kind of feel like you just played that guy like really well. I just feel like, I don't know why you do it, because at least if you're racing the same people, like if nationally you're racing all the time, I feel like you do that sort of thing. No one's ever going to give you anything ever again, right?
Right.
But maybe he wasn't worried about that, or maybe he wasn't thinking about that. I kind of imagine he just probably thought, like, you can have the win, and then he was like, wait a minute.
Right.
It's stupid. I don't know. No, you don't cheat though. I don't see that's cheating.
Okay.
I just see that as like an unethical thing to do to somebody, I guess.
All right.
But it's weird, right? Because it's like you're agreeing to do something that's kind of slightly unethical. So then you're taking it away. I don't know. Maybe it's fair. It's like double crossing your fellow criminals.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You've been double crossed. Right? It's a classic double cross, and no fun for anyone, of course. Yeah. But is it? Who are you mad at when you get double crossed? Are you mad at the double crosser, or are you mad at yourself for allowing yourself to be double crossed? Because we always like to say the most beautiful thing about bike racing is the strategy, is that it's a game of chess on wheels. And is that a fair move? Is that part of the strategy? Is it part of the game, or did he change the rules? Did he go outside of that, what is considered normal, to say, just tow me along, I'm happy with second place. It's an interesting question.
It's a weird one.
And
it's weird because I think I would feel weird about telling somebody I'd let them win and then double crossing them, whereas I wouldn't feel weird about saying to somebody like, hey, let's basically call a truce to a certain point in this race so we can have any chance.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think that's the difference is, right? Like normally in a bike race, when you make a deal, it's like, hey, we need to work together to stay away, not, hey, we need to work together, you can win. You know what I mean? I think that's
where it feels like it's kind of cheaty. And somehow it doesn't feel, that doesn't feel as bad to me in stage races just because there is more at stake, and it feels like part of the overall strategy is that, like, hey, if you work, you can take the stage, I take the jersey, sort of thing. Whereas in a one-day race, it feels like you're only racing for one thing, and if you're dealing on that one thing, then it feels shady.
Yeah,
I don't know, and maybe that's it should always feel weird. I don't know. I don't think so, though. I think that's part, like you're saying, that's part of what's cool about cycling is that you have to make weird alliances with folks. You have to work with the enemy.
Yeah. I don't know who's right and wrong in this. I don't know if anybody's right or wrong. I certainly don't think anybody should have been, guilt ridden for 15 years over it, which is a huge bummer.
I think, it sounds like dude just got played. Like Friedman said, yeah, and was probably like, can't believe he bought that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mention, like, what would you say if you said that to somebody, kind of like tongue in cheek? Nah, man, just take some pulls and you can win. And they were like, cool, and you'd be like, you wouldn't go, I was kind of fucking with you, dude. I actually, like, come on. Obviously, I want to win this. I just want you to stop attacking me.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, you would be like, all right, I'll just tuck in here, take a little break, have a sip of power goo.
Yeah,
and I don't know. That's weird, but they're both guilt-ridden, you say. I'll have to read these articles.
That's what I get. I got to read some more. There are more than one article about this. A ton of comments on the social medias and on the articles themselves. It's an interesting one to. I want to get deeper in it. I want to see. There's probably some sides that I'm missing still. So I'd like to go deeper. But it was an interesting thing, and I just kind of wanted to bring it up and get your thought, and maybe give the listeners a nugget to chew on until next week when we get Tim back and he can solve the issue for us.
All right. It's a good thing about cycling. There's just layers. Lots of weird layers. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think if I've ever... I've never been in a position to make a deal with anybody in a bike race. I'm trying to think about it.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No.
It's never come up. What would somebody offer in a local race anyway? I'm going to totally win a 6-pack. I'll give you 2.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pull.
Yeah. You can take the $5 premium, but I get the win. And it's like, no.
Yeah. If you pull, I'll give you that premium to the bike shop that you live near that I don't live near.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not exactly high stakes.
Nope.
But anyway,
we'll
figure it out.
All right, cool. I'm gonna chew on that for the next week. Maybe we can come back to it and think about it more.
Sounds good. And with that, we'd like to thank you guys for listening to the Slow Ride podcast this week. We're sorry again that Tim isn't here. We are happy to report that Little Guy's microphone is working properly. So, you take what you can get, I guess.
Long and the short.
We'd like to remind you that you can always email us at theslowridepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and all that jazz at the Slow Ride Pod. We'd like to thank BK1 from Rhyme Sayers Entertainment for our intro and outro music that he so graciously lets us use. I think that wraps up all the things that we need to call out. Don't forget to check out powerdots.com/slowride. Get yourself 20% off. It's a great product, works well, easy, cheap, small, excellent. MapleWorksCoaching.com/pod. Get yourself a free consultation, figure out what they can do for you. They can help me, and I'm a mess, so they can probably help you. And GrimpurBrothers.com for all your coffee needs. Full Schleck coffee blend and Cyclocross Friends espresso beans.
Sounds like all of it. I've been Matt in Minneapolis, and I am easy, cheap, and small myself.
And this has been Spencer in Boston, playing the dual role tonight of myself and the super rookie Tim Hayes, who could not be here. And we're going to remind you to always wave at all your fellow cyclists that you see out on the road.
The Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter @TheSlowRidePod.